This episode is proudly brought to you by Santam.
What matters to me most is my relationship with God, the relationships with my family, my friends, and my business partners, and having a sense of purpose and contributing to something bigger than myself.
So Leshira, a couple of things matters to us as a business, right? And one of those things is diversity and inclusion in helping black brokers succeed.
For example, we have so many cars, 70% of the cars on the road are not insured.
And we support them with that because we believe that if we support them, they will then help those communities understand insurance better. So those are the things that really, really matters to us.
Welcome to another episode of What Matters Most with George Mahlakgane, a space where we will have honest conversations about life, risk, and protection in a world that's changing faster than ever. A space where we get to better understand what it is that you value most. Now, we won't just talk about policies or premiums, but we will talk about your values and what it is that, how it is you go about protecting what matters most to you. I am your host, Leshira Moloto, and joining me today is Lerato Matthews, Executive Head of Santam Broker Solutions. Welcome, Lerato. How are you?
Good afternoon, Leshira. I'm well, thank you. Pretty excited to have this conversation with you today. And how are you? Or should I ask, how are you guys doing?
We are great. Thank you so much for asking. I mean, as per the namesake, what matters most? What matters most to you, and how do you go about protecting it?
What matters to me most is my relationship with God, the relationships with my family, my friends, and my business partners, and having a sense of purpose and contributing to something bigger than myself. To be in a good space physically, mentally, and emotionally, but of personal growth and development, and living in alignment with my values and bringing my true self every single time, showing up just as I am.
And what is the one thing that you're most passionate about that you do outside of work?
I'd say for me, it's about giving back to the future. I'm part of an organization called the Ground Foundation, where we're actually going to schools in disadvantaged communities, not just giving financial support, but giving coaching, life lessons, financial literacy lessons, as well as maths, science, as well as literature courses, to ensure that we can help the young ones that are coming up understand and be geared for their future into the first year or second year of being in adulthood. We found that the biggest mistakes that people make is people go through school just to make it through school. They don't understand what comes after that. So not just giving them life lessons, but also giving them educational background is what's going to build the next foundation for them, the next 2-3 generations.
And if you could have dinner with anyone, if they are maybe departed or still here with us, who would it be and why?
That's a very interesting question. But for me, I think if I could choose somebody who's living, preferably, because I'd actually wanted to make it happen, I'd have a dinner with Patrice to understand what it takes to remain humble while running such a multifaceted, multi-billion rand business and still be able to come through as human and still be able to have the interactions that you and I have on a day-to-day basis.
And if you could walk me through a typical day in your role and what matters most to you when interacting with brokers and clients, what would that typical day look like for you?
That's a very difficult question. There is no typical day in my world. It's an ever-changing world with brokers because you don't know who you're meeting and for what mood they're in. It's like having a different conversation with a different person every day. I could see George today and he's George, but tomorrow he's upset because things didn't go well for their client and he's a different kind of person. But my typical day is giving strategic direction to the team, overseeing the business needs and operations, looking at sales reports, measuring success and readjusting and pivoting is very, very essential. I attend a lot of meetings, strategic meetings, exco planning meetings. I also meet a lot with brokers to maintain our relationships with them and also help them plan for their future and see how we can enhance their businesses and let them grow, because we can only grow when our brokers grow. We also spend a lot of time understanding what's happening in the market, what's happening in current affairs, internationally, globally, as well as locally, so that we're able to provide financial needs that can meet the market's needs.
I mean, you spoke about helping brokers grow. How do you stay connected with delivering to their needs and concerns?
You know, even though I manage business across 5 different provinces, it's always multifaceted. I've got the best team on the ground. We have a lot of relationship managers in each region, regional managers. Those are the boots on the ground, and there are eyes and ears in every single region. So what I do personally is I form personal relationships with key stakeholders to get the inner workings of their business, understand what it is their business needs, and also to be able to identify opportunities for them to grow bigger in the market.
Okay, and can you share like a real story about insurance that actually made a real change or a difference in someone's life, that experience stayed with you?
I think for us it's on a daily basis when you have dealing with problems. I don't get to hear all the good news stories, but everything that ends up on my table is always a problem. It's always a challenge, something needs fixing or something needs adjusting. I think the most important story I can tell you is my son is 8 years old. He asked me, "Dad, what does you do for a living?" So his 10-year-old brother says, "No, Dad sits on his laptop and he typey send. So I want to be him when I grow up." I said, "Why?" He says, "No, all you do is sit and type emails and click send and then you're happy." So I had to explain to him what it is to be an insurer. And this was in the time of the KZN floods. So I gave him a practical example to say, listen, you see all those people whose houses got flooded away, whose cars are gone? Our job as insurers is to put them back in the same place they were. And the joy we get is rebuilding their houses, buying the toys for the kids that got flooded away, and we get gratitude from seeing their faces and their lives restored. And that's the essential part about insurance. Insurance may seem like it's a garage purchase or it's a lot of money that you're paying until you need it. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think giving consumers that financial education that they understand that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, is the best advice we can give them. And fortunately, we have a big broker force that gives advice to people, and we'd like to reach more people over time.
I mean, yes, a lot of people don't actually understand short-term insurance. I mean, your son asked you, what is it that you actually do for a living? How do you think that short-term insurance can be made more accessible in terms of knowledge for people to try and just understand it more?
I think it's possible through consumer education and reaching a bigger target market. For example, it'll need us to reach the average person, but it'll require the industry to reevaluate the current insurance model in totality. For example, we have so many cars, 70% of the cars on the road are not insured. But every single car gets licensed every year. You know, if the South African government put a rule in place, say, listen, with your license disrenewal, you have to take liability cover, and it's bolted on to your license disrenewal, we can get maybe 98 or 99% of the market insured. You must remember, insurance works on a pooling system. So if everybody has some sort of liability cover, it will reduce the risk, and it'll bring everybody else's premiums down in the motors.
Okay. And what are some common misconceptions that you actually encounter about short-term insurance on a daily basis in your typical life?
I think the biggest misconception about short-term insurance is that you're always paying premiums, but you never get anything back. Insurance is never designed to be an investment where you get something back. Insurance is a risk pooling protection system. So if many of us put all our money in one pool, we always have enough money to put somebody else back in a position where they're happy again. So if everybody does their bit and takes some sort of insurance cover, we'll always be able to be financially sound to put people back in the position they were before. So like I said to you, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And unfortunately for consumers that have learned that the hard way, it's a little bit too late. Imagine you had a house in Venda. There's a fire from next door, or for a foul fire that spreads to your house. Now you're 65 years old, you've invested your whole pension there. That is your retirement home. You've built that home and it burns to the ground. What happens to you then?
Indeed, what happens to you then? And what do you think most clients, what do you think is the important thing that they need to understand about short-term insurance, and how do you think that brokers can help them make informed decisions?
There's a saying out there that says insurance is not bought, Insurance is sold. This rings true in today's price-slashing environment, where the value of insurance has been trivialized to paying the cheapest premiums. But the role of the broker has become more important to consumers, because the role of the broker is not to sell the price, but to sell the product and give the correct cover and the correct advice. That's why we're glad to have partners like GM Financial Services, who've proven year in, year out that they want to give the best advice to clients to ensure that they also stay relevant in the market.
And what is the one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's looking to succeed in the broker channel or in the short-term industry?
I couldn't give one piece of advice. I'd say number one is you need to know your clients, understand your market that you're dealing with, focus on service, because clients don't just buy products, they buy you as an individual. Add value by providing sound advice, making sure clients don't ever have to come and complain to you. And lastly, embrace digital tools. We're in the digital era where every single client wants an answer now. If you still have to go back, write things on paper, work things out manually, you're unable to deliver your promise faster. But when you embrace digital tools, a lot of stuff becomes self-help things, where the clients can still engage with you when they need to, but you can still provide them tools to deal with any challenges they have.
Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and do not forget to follow all our social media platforms from the links down below. Well, Mr. Matthews, thank you very much for being with us here today in studio. We really appreciate and we enjoyed having you here today.
Thank you for having me, Leshira. All the best with the rest of your term. We'll be looking forward to meeting the little one in future. But in parting, I'd like to appeal to all your listeners and viewers to shift their mindset from a short-term view to a long-term view of building generational wealth. Insurance is a tool that makes a difference between financial security versus poverty and bankruptcy. So to everybody watching, listening, please reach out to your financial advisor, get the right advice, and stay covered. Thank you very much.
I mean, there you have it. He said it himself. Stay covered. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Before we close today's episode, help me welcome Mr. Lehlogonolo Tau, Head Emerging Brokers. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Leshira, and it's a pleasure and a privilege, and we honor the Santam to be at What Matters Most.
What matters most to you when it comes to helping black brokers succeed?
So, Leshira, a couple of things matters to us as a business, right? And one of those things is diversity and inclusion in helping black brokers succeed. I think if you look, for example, at the insurance landscape, we know that it was predominantly a white brokerage space, right? And we want to diversify that space and include more brokers like George Mahlakgane, for example, and also diversity in the brokerage space. I think, so take an example of GMFS, for example. I think George employs 98% women in the business. That talks to diversity and inclusion in the financial services sector. And the 2% I think that is employed at GMFS is George himself. So that matters to us. And another thing that matters to us is really, as a business, we're very passionate about community building, right? And strengthening knowledge and education in the communities that we live in so that we can build resilient communities. We know that, for example, a lot of houses around these areas are not insured. And should there be a natural disaster, those people look to government to come and rebuild those houses. So what we try and help businesses like GMFS with is funding through what we call consumer financial education. Because they've got the knowledge, they've got the skills, they've got the technical know-how of how insurance works. So George, for example, and his team will host a day where they will teach people about insurance. And we support them with that because we believe that if we support them, they will then help those communities understand insurance better. So those are the things that really, really matters to us.
And what is the most meaningful way to empower black brokers to thrive?
So we honestly believe that the most meaningful way to help black brokers thrive is through empowering them with the skills and the tools that they need. Skills, we're talking technical knowledge of the insurance, for example, and also business knowledge. So if you look at a lot of brokerages, they started by accident. It's a natural thing. You move from where you are employed, you start a business. But how do you set up and structure that business, to be sustainable in the long term? And how do we then, as a business, help you with the skills, the knowledge, the technical knowledge to build and sustain that business for generations to come? We also believe in empowering the people within the business, right? So we run a program called the SIGDP, Santam Intermediate Growth and Development Program. And I think George and his team graduated from this program this year. And we're very happy to them. Congratulations to you as well for being on that program. So that's the most meaningful way to help these brokers succeed. And the other thing that we do is that we help these brokers, like I said, with CFE support, sponsorship for growth, not only a sponsorship, for example, to host a golf day, but a meaningful sponsorship where George will entertain his clients, show them appreciation, and thank them for supporting his business. Because the only way to build a sustainable business is only if you retain the clients that you have. If you lose those clients, that business is gone. So that's one of how we help businesses like George Mahlakgane Financial Services be sustainable and have an impact in the communities that they live in.
Well, Tau, it's been a great pleasure having you here. I actually wish that we had the whole day just so we can sit and chat through our session today.
Well, we're grateful to be here, and certainly we can give you a day, and we want to wish you and the team at What Matters Most great success, and hope that everybody that's watching today will subscribe and watch this interesting episode as we grow, because we always believe that as we lift each other up and grow, that's where the success lies.
You heard him right. That's where the success lasts. So please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share the links on your social media platforms. Subscribe, follow our links, follow our social media platforms. And from me to you, I say goodbye for now.
This episode was proudly brought to you by Santam.